What's up, everybody? It's the Welcome to the Show podcast. CT, are you ready for this?
Yep.
Brought to you by Audible. Go to audibletrial.com/welcome to the show to get a free audiobook download and a 30-day free trial. That's audibletrial.com/welcome to the show. What's good, CT?
I'm chilling, man. Got the first weekend of baseball out of the way, and it was a roller coaster for the ages.
Show was. They delivered. But before we get into some of these topics, CT, I just want to let everybody know that on Thursday we have official fan artists for the Mets, official artists for Elvis Presley, Muhammad Ali, and Joe Namath. He's also a licensed artist for DC and Lucasfilms. I'm talking about the one, the only, Joe Petruccio. You can follow him on Instagram at Joey_paint. So he's going to be on the show on Thursday. It was a cool interview. Make sure you guys check that out.
What an introduction. We slacked in the off season. We never figured out the soundboard, but that would have been a good time to drop like a
yeah, right. Funk Master Flex Night.
All right.
All right.
Let's get back to baseball.
Yeah. So there's a few things I want to talk about today. So let me not even preview what we're going to talk about. I'm just going to jump right into it. I have a question for you. What do these players have in common, CT? Are you ready?
All right.
What does Luis Severino, CC Sabathia, Aaron Hicks, Jacoby Ellsbury, Jordan Montgomery, Didi Gregorius, Dellin Betances, Giancarlo Stanton, and now Miguel Andujar have in common?
They all play for the Yankees. They're all on the IL. And yeah, I lost track of all the players that you mentioned. I was going to say they're all millionaires, but they're not.
Well, Sevy is, CC is, Hicks is, Ellsbury is. I don't know if Didi is. I don't know if Dellin is. I don't know if Miguel isn't.
Didi makes millions.
Does he? Okay. So, I mean, close enough. On average, they make millions.
Okay.
You can literally field a baseball team with the Yankees injured list. If if CC could hit, you know what I'm saying? Like, you can literally field a team.
Yeah, you guys just got the injury bug to start the season before the season even started, but maybe it's not as bad. I mean, it's so early in the season. Maybe it's, but again, you wouldn't want that to happen. You guys would like to win these games, but at least it's an early part of the season where you still have the rest of the season to make up for it. Yeah.
I mean, for me, like, every game counts, in my opinion, and
it does in this division. It does,
especially in this division. And this is no way to start a season. Luckily, we have an easy schedule for the first 2 months, so things shouldn't be all that bad. But it's not good. I mean, how many teams can absorb 9 injuries? You know what I mean? Like, it's not a good sign.
And you're supposed to be, it's not just 9 injuries. It's Luis Severino, starting pitcher, like,
your ace.
Top 1, 2, 1, 1A, 1B with Paxton, I guess. Aaron Hicks, starting center fielder.
Right.
You just lost Stanton, another starting outfielder, your cleanup hitter or your third hitter, depending how you look at it, who wasn't doing that bad, by the way, because I actually saw him work a couple walks in these games, which I was kind of surprised. Yeah, a couple hits the opposite way, too. Yeah, it sucks, but that's baseball.
That is baseball, and I'm not going to use it as an excuse. Not yet, at least, but I'm not going to use it as an excuse. This is crazy, man. This is. By the way, can we just make a rule on the podcast? We're no longer going to refer to baseball's injured list as the IL. We're gonna keep the DL. Fuck that shit, man.
DL. Fuck it.
DL. Yo, so yeah, and then so let's keep with the Yankees real quick. The Yankees lose 2 out of 3 to the Baltimore Orioles. They start off strong on opening day with a Luke Voit 3-run home run in the first inning, and then they wet the bed for the rest of the series. I think for the rest of the series, Greg Bird hit a home run. Troy Tulowitzki hit a home run, so that's good news. But other than that, we're seeing a lot of strikeouts, and we're seeing that the Yankees ride or die with the home run, basically. I don't know. Is there any what is your reaction after that series?
When I saw the first game of the series, all that damage. I mean, the 3-run homer came in the first inning, I think it was. Yeah, I was like, this is exactly how the Yankees want a game to go. Judge worked the walk to bring up Stanton. That's already a bad scenario for any pitcher.
Mm-hmm.
The guy on base with Giancarlo Stanton up to bat, but then Stanton worked the walk, or I think he got an oppo hit. Don't remember what it was, but I know it was Stanton, Judge. Then you got Voit, just like last year, picked off right where he left off, hits a 3-run homer. The game's pretty much over at this point, and you guys continue to, do damage, and the bullpen shut it down. That was a perfect Yankee scenario, but then the next two games is what the Yankees are on, I guess, on any given day. It's a home run or nothing. They had a bunch of opportunities with guys in scoring positions. Not all those opportunities came with 2 outs, and they couldn't get it done. So that's exactly what it was like last year. And let's not forget either that a lot of runs were given up by the bullpen as well.
Yep.
In these last couple of days. So you guys pretty much wasted a great start from Paxton.
And Tanaka. Tanaka had a good start,
and
too.
Tanaka. Yep.
And you know what? In fairness, so did J. Happ. He gave up a home run in the first inning to Mancini, but he recovered. He went another 4 innings. There were 3 errors committed by the Yankee defense. I don't think the starters were the problem. And the Yankees, we had talked prior to the show, the Yankees had every opportunity to win every one of those games, and they just didn't come through. And it reminded me of the postseason last year. Like, over the course of a 162-game season, the Yankees are going to rattle off. They're going to go on a streak where everybody's hitting home runs, and they're going to win 20 games, 20 out of 25. Home run record. Yeah, all that stuff. But they can't, it's only 3 games. I don't want to hit the panic button yet. But to me, it looked a lot like last year. Like, if these guys aren't clicking, we're going to see losses, and the games are going to be frustrating because there's going to be opportunities to win, and they're not going to come through. So I hope that, with the signing of DJ LeMahieu and Troy Tulowitzki, I hope that these guys start slapping some hits. I want to see more doubles from this team. I want to see Judge and Stanton. These guys hit hard, man. Just put the ball in play. It's going to fall for a hit. And for the most part, they do that. So, I don't know.
I was going to mention, too, that I noticed a couple errors, too. I know Gary Sanchez made, a couple throwing errors. Couple of I saw 1 pass ball. I'm not going to say a couple. I'm not just going to pretend like he had a bunch of pass balls, but I did see 1 pass ball that was pretty bad. And then I saw 1 throw down a second that actually gave the Orioles the lead in that Paxton game, I think it was. I was going to say that Aaron Judge, I drafted him on my fantasy baseball team, so I'm watching him closer than ever this season. And I picked him to win the AL MVP at the beginning of the season. And I love that Aaron Judge he's not like any power hitter we've ever seen because he actually works a lot of walks, which is great. But I think that he does a little bit too much of, he's not as aggressive as I'd like him to be. Like, a lot of pitchers I've noticed, and it's only been 3 games, small sample size, but a lot of people start him off with a fastball right down the middle. He doesn't do anything with it, ever. They probably know
it's an easy strike right there.
He's always usually taking the first pitch, which I don't mind if you're leading off the inning maybe. Actually, I don't know what the perfect scenario would be to just jump on that first pitch, but you're Aaron Judge, man. Just stick the bat out and, kill it.
Yeah.
First pitch swinging.
And Aaron Judge, I saw that he was laying off of some of those pitches on the outside corner, but the ones that are too close to call, he was also laying off of them and striking out on them. So, that's always been his weakness, that outside corner. But I'm not, to be honest with you, I'm not worried about Judge. He has the mentality he has coming into the season. He made a comment to, I can't remember who it was. It was on MLB.com. I can't remember which writer, but anyway, he made a comment saying that he wants this team to play like they have their backs to the wall because he thinks that that's when this team performs at their best. And I like that. I like that mentality. So again, over the course of an entire season, Judge is probably one of my, I'm least worried about Aaron Judge. I'm disappointed in the Stanton injury because I'm expecting, I'm not going to say I'm expecting a huge season from Giancarlo Stanton, especially after last year. It's not good that he's going to miss the first 10 games. And then it came out that there will be no baseball activity for the first 10 games. Then the Yankees.
Oh, man.
Then the Yankees are going to slowly work him back in, maybe give him a rehab start or something somewhere in the minors. So I could see Stanton out for a good 2-3 weeks at this point.
That's crazy. That's crazy. I didn't read that into it. That I didn't know he wasn't going to be doing any baseball activity. But it is a bicep strain, and those are usually a lot longer than the first initial diagnosis. Like the timetable is usually a lot longer for those. I don't know what the case is with Andujar. That news literally just came out 10 minutes ago, I think it was. So yeah, it's not looking good. But I'm not gonna. You know what? If the whole season played out and the Yankees didn't succeed how you wanted them to, I wouldn't blame you for using injuries as an excuse. But as we stand today, there's a lot of moves that the Yankees can make right now to at least, improve on what they're working with. Keuchel's still out there. Kimbrel's still out there. I know you guys don't need anything else in the bullpen, but you never know. I don't know, man. A lot of stuff.
I am with you. Jump into the Boston Red Sox. So last night it was reported that the Red Sox, so there's conflicting reports. I'm not really understanding what this extension is looking like. The initial reports, and these people are still standing by these reports, is that it's 7 years, $132 million. Some other people are reporting that it's actually so they're gonna, I guess he got $12 million in arbitration this year. I don't know if that's right or not. They're giving him another $12 million per season for 6 more years. So it includes this year. So they're saying it's really a 6-year extension, not a 7. Because I trust Jeff Passan, because he's typically has his stuff right, I'm going to go with the 7-year, $132 million extension. Either way, Xander Bogaerts becomes the highest paid shortstop in baseball. He exceeds Elvis Andrus' contract from, I wrote about this last night as it broke. Elvis Andrus got... Beep, beep, boop. Don't you love it when I do this? When I don't have the information ready? Okay, so Elvis Andrus got... still don't have it.
Well, anyways.
Here he is.
Xander...
Here he is. I'm sorry. Elvis Andrus gets $15 million per year. He got $119 million over, I think, 5 seasons. So anyway, what's important here is that Xander Bogaerts is now the highest paid shortstop in baseball. I wanted to ask you a quick question. One, what's your reaction to that? Are you happy or not? And then the other thing is, what now? What happens to Rick Porcello? And if J.D. Martinez decides to opt out, what happens to J.D. Martinez?
First, I'm super happy that we're keeping Xander Bogaerts. I think he's underrated, and he's the highest paid shortstop. That doesn't really say much because if you look around the league, it's like the golden age of shortstops. We got Carlos Correa, Francisco Lindor, Javi Baez, if you consider him a shortstop, and these guys are going to get paid way more when their time is due. Mm-hmm. So I get it, but I'm good with the money. I'm good with the player. I don't know what their moves are. I feel like the Red Sox are going to be over the luxury tax for the rest of my life, and
they already are, man.
They are. I know.
As I wrote the piece of the extension last night, I think they were at $222 million. The luxury tax, I believe, is $206 this year or $203, somewhere in the twos,
206,
somewhere in that area. $206. So add the Xander Bogaerts money to that, and something tells me that if the Red Sox want to compete this season, they're going to have to add a bullpen arms somewhere around there. And I wouldn't be surprised because now something else came out that Craig Kimbrel might wait until the summer to sign, based on that theory that I had said to you, I think, a couple weeks ago, that if he signs after the June amateur draft and teams don't have to give up their draft picks, I wouldn't be surprised if the Red Sox decide to bring him back if it turns out that he's going to wait that long. But that's going to now. So I'm sorry to cut you off.
Okay.
Now, what I'm wondering is, did it have to happen right now? Did this extension have to happen right now? Because in theory, this is costing you more money than it would have had you waited until the end of the season. But on the other hand, you're taking a chance by letting Xander Bogaerts test free agency because I believe he's a free agent next year.
Yeah. We're taking the chance that he might hit free agency, but making this offer now, could he have made more in free agency? Yeah, probably. But we have a whole season ahead of us. They're giving the money to him right now. He can sign the deal right now. I feel like they kind of put the pressure on him to make a decision. And I think I'm happy that he made that decision and that we're able to keep him on for another 6-7 years, whatever the contract turns out to be. I'm looking at the team payrolls right now, and the Yankees have, back to the Yankees real quick, because I looked at it yesterday and it changed because of the news that came out today. The Red Sox have $22 million to the injured reserve. The Yankees, I don't know if this includes Andujar, which I don't really think it makes a difference. But today, today the Yankees have, and this does include Stanton because I checked it yesterday, $78 million in the injured reserve. And that's, yesterday was in the 50s. Stanton's making, I guess, whatever he makes in a year, 26, 27?
Something like that, yeah.
$78 million in the injured reserve. I'm pretty sure Ellsbury's in there, obviously. Yeah. Ouch. Cubs are second. Yankees are third in payroll. They're under it. They're just under it. The Cubs are over the payroll in second, but the Red Sox are way past everybody in that.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
And I think it's gonna have to stay that way because it's just bad. I think for the Red Sox, it's good timing because these players are coming into their own at a good time, and I think that's what's making them so competitive. But it's bad timing because in order to compete, if you don't want to spend too much money, because you're literally, with a luxury tax, you're giving money away to other teams. You're hurting yourself in that direction. But like I said in the article I wrote last night, it's kind of refreshing to see a team, and the way it appears to me is they're saying, fuck it, we have the money, we have to keep these players, let's spend it. Because not every team is doing that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I feel like, I don't know what's going to happen when it's this team's time to start extending people, but the Astros, like, what are they going to do? Are they going to try to keep that core group of guys? They didn't. I mean, I don't know if Keiko's considered a core group of guys for that Astros team. He was there already before a lot of these guys came, but they didn't really try keeping him. He's still out there, and I feel like the Astros can use them. Like they don't have Charlie Morton either. Charlie Morton, by the way, pitched a great game the other day. When is this guy gonna get busted for steroids? Because he's only getting older, but he's pitching great.
Yo, and by the way, the Houston Astros, to me it seems like they don't care if these guys walk. They're keeping their core young players. They gave Altuve an extension last year. They gave Bregman an extension this year. Correa's still under control for a few more years. They let Marwin Gonzalez just walk. They let Charlie Morton just walk, and it looks like they don't care about Dallas Keuchel being gone or not. Their minor league pitching system, which I don't understand how this is even possible. They have the best minor league pitching prospects in all of baseball. So I think that they just don't care. I think they know that they have some sort of secret or whatever, that they're not afraid of their pitching. And it seems like it's working out. I mean, look at Charlie Morton. He became a different pitcher with the Astros. Justin Verlander, has always been a Hall of Famer, but he had the best season of his entire career last year at age 35 with the Houston Astros. Like, I don't know what's going on down there, but
Garrett Cole pretty much turned his career around after I thought he was done in Pittsburgh.
So did I.
But I saw an interesting stat the day that he pitched. It was his 6th double-digit strikeout start since joining the Astros. In all the time that I'm just throwing these numbers at random, but it is similar to what I'm saying. In all the time that he was at Pittsburgh, I think it was his 10th as an Astro. In all the time that he was at Pittsburgh, he had only pitched 6 double-digit strikeouts. And of course, I could be wrong with those numbers, but it's around that type of it's around that type of verbiage that's what the numbers were like. I want to go back to the team payrolls real quick.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the teams, and Tampa Bay is at the bottom. They're about the $12 million below the Marlins in last place for team payroll. That's the only team. Well, them and the Athletics are also way below the average.
Yep.
And then I'm looking, Cleveland is also below the average. I guess you can count the Twins and the Brewers.
These are all teams that are heavily analytical. The Indians have always. It was the Oakland Athletics, and then the Indians took. That was that guy's name. If you watch Moneyball, the movie, he went to the guy who played by Jonah Hill. He ended up going to the Cleveland Indians to work on their analytics department. And their owner has no qualms, has no issue saying that he's not spending money on his players. He said it last week with the whole Lindor thing when he told Indians fans to enjoy Lindor. You know what I mean? And that the Athletics are always, they're actually, compared to years past, they're actually higher in the list. They're usually the last at the lowest payroll, or they're in the bottom 3 typically. And the Rays are always at the bottom as well. The Rays, I don't know what it is that the Rays do, but for some reason, ever since Joe Madden was their manager, they've always been like one of those teams that I just never sleep on. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, the point I was trying to make before was that besides the Brewers, and that's if the Brewers, I'm saying if the Brewers, play how they're playing, but they improve on their bullpen a little bit. Mm-hmm. Josh Hader's amazing, by the way.
Oh my God! Did you see that immaculate inning? I think it was on strict fastballs too.
I watched it. I was watching it live, and it ended. But I had the volume kind of low. I had no idea what I was watching, but it's crazy. But besides the Brewers, that's the only team. I mean, I don't consider the Indians. They have a great team, by the way. The Indians pitching is great. It's Kluber, Clevenger pitched amazing today. Trevor Bauer, they have great pitching, but I'm not picking the Indians to win the World Series. I'm not picking the Rays to win the World Series. The Twins might go to the playoffs this year. I'm not picking them to win the World Series. Then you look at the top of the payrolls, we got all the teams that could possibly win the World Series this year. The Red Sox, Cubs, Yankees, Dodgers, not the Giants, who are 5th. Cardinals are looking good, but I still wouldn't pick them. The Nats are looking pretty solid. Still got the Astros, not the Angels. And I think the Angels are way above it this year. The Angels are always above the league average.
Yeah.
We look at the Mets. I'm surprised to see the Mariners up there. Rockies and Phillies. I feel like there's more elite teams above the league average than there is below the league average. So there is something to spending money. Yeah, like we always say.
I think there is too. I mean, I think who did I talk to about this? Well, in my interview with Joe Petruccio, we were talking about how these teams that are filled with veterans, but they're infused with some young talent, like the Red Sox have their Mookie Betts and the Andrew Benintendi and the Xander Bogaerts. The Yankees have Aaron Judge, Gary Sanchez, Luis Severino. The Astros, like. You need, the Yankees of the 2000s where it was a strict veterans and the Derek Jeter who was all business all the time. For me, in my opinion, I think that kind of killed the team a little bit. You know what I mean? Like, you needed a little bit of it. The game has changed. Like, it's not 1961 anymore where the team, is this stoic business-like, it's all about the win stuff. No, you have to have some fun now. And I think that the teams that are spending money on those veterans and infusing it with young talent are the ones that are, that are the most successful. And that's why you see and the Red Sox spend money on their players. The Yankees spend money on their players. The Dodgers, the Astros now. So, yeah, I agree with you. I think that you do have to spend money to win in this game. Yeah,
basically the veterans that you're giving money to are like those elite veterans like Max Scherzer, Chris Sale, I think back then any veteran was getting a good deal. I think now you have to have a good 5-6 years under your belt where you produced and you won with the team and everything. I don't think any old veteran is getting a great deal anymore. And I think that's kind of a turning into a little bit of a problem because I feel like what's the incentive for these guys to keep playing, from the beginning and bust their ass until they can finally sign their deal? If they didn't have the perfect situation like Machado or Harper to hit free agency at a young age, what's that going to do to the talent at the lower level? I don't know.
Right. And so just sticking with the Red Sox real quick, what's your reaction of this weekend series against the Seattle Mariners? You had a pretty poor start from Chris Sale. And, so what do you have to say about that? What do you have to say about yourself, young man?
I think the Mariners are super random, came out of nowhere with these guys like Malik Smith and Domingo Santana. And, I mean, I know these guys are good players, but they're
and this
hitting
dude
home runs like nothing.
Who won Player of the Week. What's his name?
I know who it is.
Beckham.
Tim Beckham is another one. I think he had 48 career home runs going into the season. Now he already has like 4, I think, or something. So the positives that I'm going to take away from the opening series for the Red Sox is that our bullpen wasn't the that wasn't like our killer in our games. What killed us was our starting pitching. We were out of the game, even though we came back in that second game. We were pretty much out of all our games because of our starting pitching. Positives that I'm taking away is that our lineup is still looking really good. Wow, I'm dying over here. Our lineup is looking really good, and excuse me, we are super aggressive on the base paths. Like, the Red Sox are a problem if they get on base. I don't think any other team really does what they do on the base when they're on base. So those are the two positives. Our bullpen was okay, and we're still offensively we still put up a good amount of runs. So
okay. Yeah. All right. So let's
Is that what you wanted to hear?
Yeah, right. So there's your Yankees. Yeah, there's your Yankees and Red Sox talk. Let's move on to the next topic real quick. Christian Yelich, man. Where the hell did this? I mean, I'm not gonna say where the hell did this guy come from. He's been good for a while, but he's like on another level now.
Yep.
So he hits a home run in each of his first 4 games. That's tying a record. He ties 6 players who have done it before, and then he walks it off in the series ender on a 102-mile-an-hour Jordan Hicks sinker. He hits an oppo to score to win the game, basically. I don't even know what to say about this guy. Like, did you expect this out of him?
I think I've always thought Christian Yelich was a great player, all-star level. I never thought he was a superstar type of talent. This is what he's the man in the Brewers. Like, he's the superstar of the Brewers, you know?
He might be the man in baseball, man. This guy's doing it all right now.
Yeah, you know what I don't find? You know what I find? I know that this has nothing to do with how he plays, but the way he runs the bases after a home run, it looks really, like, odd. Have you ever noticed that? He runs like he's running on his tippy toes, kind of, like pumping his arms. Like Mr. Perfect, kind of, is the way I look at it when he's running the bases.
He's very tall and lanky.
Yeah, he is. He's nice, though. Like, he's really, really, really amazing. I'm going to just say this, that in our fantasy league, we have 12 teams. We all passed on Christian Yelich twice.
Yes.
And he went in the 3rd round. I chose Jose Altuve and Aaron Judge. I'm wishing I would have swapped one of those out for Christian Yelich now that, you know, it's a week later. He has 4 home runs in his first 4 games.
Yeah, I know. I kind of wish I had taken him too. I took Arenado in the 1st round. I can't remember who I took in the 2nd round. I didn't take Joey Votto in the 2nd round, did I?
I think he took him in the 3rd round.
Okay.
But what happened to the Marlins? Because they won a World Series. What was it? 2003?
Mm-hmm.
They won a World Series in 2003. They had a solid team all those years. And look at this 2016 roster. It was JT Realmuto at catcher, Justin Bour at first. Who Justin Bour is nice. I'm not saying he's amazing, but
he's decent.
Yeah, he's decent. He's decent. D. Gordon at second, not a player from their farm system, but D. Gordon at second. Hechavarria, solid defender, good player. Martin Prado, which I know at one point was hitting like in the 330s batting average. Christian Yelich, last year's MVP and already probably the front runner. Marcell Ozuna, who I think I don't know what's wrong with Marcell Ozuna, but I watched a couple of his at-bats, and he looks really odd at the plate.
Mm-hmm.
And Giancarlo Stanton, who won an MVP that year, or the next year. I forgot what it was.
It was the year before, 2016.
Yeah.
2017.
So the Marlins were they had something going on over there. Like they only won 79 games that year. I think they had some injuries too, but they did something right those years, you know, like. And I'm looking, think about Jose Fernandez too. Like, could his passing away be the reason that derailed this franchise, like to the point that we're joking that they're like a minor league type of team now, like the Orioles?
It could be, because he could have been the difference in that team in 2017 for sure.
Yeah.
And I know that ballpark, the Marlins ballpark, is not a hitter-friendly ballpark, which is why people were very impressed with Stanton's 59 homers, and why people entering Yankee Stadium last year, people were saying this guy could hit 60, maybe 70, because if he could smack 59 playing in Miami, you know, he should be able to hit way more than that in New York. I don't know, man.
Jose Fernandez passed away that year. Giancarlo Stanton only played 119 games that year. So they won 79 games. 2016, Don Mattingly, your hero.
Yeah, Donnie Baseball. He's not my hero, but I like him.
I know. Paul O'Neill.
Paul O'Neill, baby. The Warrior.
Yeah, so I'm amazed how a team like the Marlins could go from what they had to, and all these players are having success around the league that they had in their team and everything, and here we are, years later, and
here we are. And you know what? When you were going over the payrolls, when you said that the Marlins weren't at the very bottom, I was surprised. And then I'm looking at it right now. They're 29th, and who are they spending $72 million on? I can't even name. I don't know if I can name a player on their team.
Starling Castro, Wei-Yin Chen.
Yeah.
Oh, Neil Walker's on the Curtis Granderson.
Ooh. Ouch. That had to be
man.
Jeter. That had to be all Jeter. Like, let me give my boy a contract.
Yeah, I don't know who they're spending this money on. Let me look at this again. Yeah, because it looks like all their money is for their active players that are currently on the team. Are they just? Oh, Wei-Yin Chen's making $20 million this year.
Damn!
Wow.
What? And I don't even
see.
Yeah. And Martin Prado, $15 million. Jeez.
This is why I don't understand baseball. If Wei-Yin Chen is making $20 million this year, how are we not like? How could Keuchel not get what he's asking for? Right?
Yeah. Keuchel is worth at least $20 million.
Yeah, if this guy's making $20 million, and then you look at what some other guys around the league are making, Martin Prado, $15 million. Like solid 35 already.
Wow. I don't know, man. And the thing is, you also don't hear about the Marlins. I don't know how we got on the Marlins, but because of Christian Yelich. You also don't hear about the Marlins farm system too much. So
no, you don't. I mean, well,
I don't know, man.
They got their number one prospect right now is the pitcher that they got from Philly from the JT Realmuto. Yeah, and he's apparently really, really good. So that's the only prospect that I know of them right now.
He was drawing comparisons to Pedro, which is sacrilegious, but yeah.
I've heard that. I want to right back to Christian Yelich real quick. That was our bad not drafting him first overall or first round, clearly.
I just looked it up. I drafted Machado in the second round. I should have taken Yelich.
Yeah, I would have taken Yelich. Well, I took Judge.
I'm okay. You know what? I'm okay with Machado. Like, I'm all right. He had a bad weekend, a bad opening weekend, but he's going to hit 30, 35.
I think all those players that signed those big contracts, even the extensions, even like Nolan Arenado, I think they all went 0 for 3 on their first day or something. But they've all, I mean, Harper already has 2 home runs.
That bomb by Harper, did you watch that?
Yeah, man. It's amazing. Like, that's what baseball needs Harper to be good in Philly.
And here's the thing. Harper's really, I don't have the splits in front of me, but I had looked this up before. Harper's really good in April. So he's going to psych, the Phillies fans are going to see, he's going to put on a show in April. He's a monster in April.
He's also the best active player to hit in Philly. Mm-hmm. He's the best in baseball hitting in that ballpark. So,
yeah, man.
Yeah, they did good.
They did good. And McCutchen hit 2 home runs in his first 2.
Oh, my God, McCutchen, yes.
2 hits, 2 home runs, I believe. So they're in good shape. Did I cut you off? Was there something you were going to say, man?
No, I was just like, admiring Harper and McCutchen and the Phillies. I'm not a Philly fan, but
I'm not a Philly fan either. But I think, and by the way, so I follow this guy on Instagram. Can't remember his username. That's the kind of day I'm having, guys. And he's a guy. He's one of those guys that catches a lot of balls at games, and he has a YouTube channel and all this stuff. I forget what his name is. And he was recording what Citizens Bank Park was like in Harper's debut, and it's insane there. Like, I know that Yankee Stadium is a New York City stadium, but it's a really big stadium. So you're not typically waiting in lines, to get in the stadium. I mean, you might wait in a good 10-minute line, but these lines looked like, Backstreet Boys were about to perform, and all the high school girls in town were around. It was insane. And, so I was going to say, we got to go catch a game with Harper at Citizens Bank. That move was, the Phillies had to get him because he rakes in Citizens Bank. That park is tiny, so he's going to hit a lot of home runs there. And Yeah, man. And now, by the way, sticking with Harper, now he's having a baby. What the fuck? So like, I don't even. Is he having the best year ever?
Is he having what Mookie Betts had last year, where Mookie won the MVP and also had a baby?
Yeah.
Uh-oh. Gary Sanchez, home run in the second inning.
Thank you, man. I can't watch the game because my computer's acting up.
Ooh, well, God, it's so cold. He's wearing like a turtleneck and everything, and he's looking kind of fat.
Shut up. Did you see him?
I'm serious.
Did you see him pimp that fly ball to center in that opening series?
I missed that, actually.
He literally smacked it. I'm not gonna lie. I got up and I was screaming like, yeah, whatever. And he's looking at the dugout, bat flip, slowly walking to first base or whatever, and boom, it lands in the glove of the center fielder. I was like, oh my god, that was like in major leagues. That ball, where does he go? Going, caught or whatever.
I feel like John Sterling does that in his I'm pretty sure if we were to hear the audio for that pop up, we anybody listening on radio would have probably thought that it was gonna be a home run.
John Sterling always psychs people out with his home run calls.
I feel like besides Jacob deGrom and Max Scherzer, well, mostly just Jacob deGrom because they won, but besides his start, every great start that I've seen this season has gone to waste. Like I saw Chris Archer today put up 5-6 innings of shutout baseball. Pirates lost that game. Yeah, Pirates lost that game. Clevenger, 12 strikeouts today. I think in like 5 innings. And they did blow that. He's not gonna get the win. They blew that. White Sox went up 3-0 or 3-1, but now the Cleveland got it back. So it just feels like a lot of these good starts have gone to waste. Everybody's offense has come out blazing this year. It's like everyone's in the game, and they're not, no one's really out of it until the last inning.
Yeah.
Just noticed.
Great observation.
Thank you. Watched a lot of baseball this weekend.
Let's move on to the next topic. I have a lot of topics, CT. I'm sorry. It's going to be a busy show.
Okay.
You're going to like this. So the Nationals announced that they were going to move up Max Scherzer's start to tomorrow in order for him to face Bryce Harper in Harper's debut in D.C. So he would have faced him regardless, but it would have been in Game 2. Instead, they're going to skip the number 5 starters start because they have an off day. So Scherzer's still on regular rest. And we're going to see Scherzer versus Harper tomorrow in Washington, D.C. I'm not going to lie. I'm kind of excited to watch it, especially considering that apparently this is Scherzer's idea. Scherzer wanted this. I think that's cool. I don't know about you, but they've never faced each other before. So this is going to be their first matchup. Can you imagine if Harper takes him deep? Like, that place is going to go nuts.
Yeah, no, that would be crazy. But because they're going to be in Washington, I'd rather see, like, the Scherzer punch out,
Do you think Scherzer's the type of pitcher that if he punches him out, like, on 3 straight pitches, that he stares him down or some shit?
Nah, he's just going to walk around the mound and, like, lick his fingers and call it a day, I think. By the way, Scherzer better pray that he doesn't suffer a season-ending injury because he pitched 7 2/3 his first start. And I'm not saying that's not odd for Scherzer, but it was the first start of the season. They were already losing the game. He even took an at bat, I think, in the 6th inning. This is where I'm going with this. I'm pretty sure he forced the manager's hand to go out there for another inning. Pitched 7 2/3, and now he's moving his startup to face Harper. Like, doesn't it seem like Scherzer has a little bit too much power in that clubhouse?
I mean, what would you do if you were the manager of the Nats? Like, you have a 35-year-old veteran in Max Scherzer, to me, he reminds me of an old school type pitcher.
Yeah.
He's not, his game isn't finesse. He's going to overpower you. Plus, he has deadly breaking balls and stuff. I would fuck it. Regular rest. I kind of like it, man. I'm not going to lie.
No, I like it. And I wouldn't stop him from doing as he's doing now, but I'm also, just a regular guy from that likes baseball. I'm not a major league manager, so I'm a fanboy at the end of the day. So I'm gonna say, yeah, Scherzer, do you? And real quick, we said this I think we mentioned this a bunch of times. We all thought Kershaw was like this generation's best pitcher, but Scherzer's like rewriting that book, and that's just the first. That's the first Scherzer and Kershaw, comment of the year.
Yeah, I still consider Kershaw the best pitcher in a generation. It's just he's too injury prone, man. He's always hurt. I did draft him. I'm not gonna lie. I took a chance on him because at some point this shit has to stop, and he has to like pitch for an extended period of time. And the thing with Kershaw is that even though he's hurt, when he plays, even though his velocity's down and everything, he's still amazing. He could still he's a pitcher. That's and they're perfect. They're the perfect two pitchers to compare because they're so different. I don't even know if Kershaw can touch 95 anymore on his fastball, but he still has a deadly curve. He still has an amazing changeup, and he just knows how to pitch. The guy's just an amazing pitcher. But I think Scherzer's close to Kershaw, but I think if we look up their stats real quick, I'm almost willing to bet that statistically Kershaw still beats Scherzer.
Those 4 or 5 years of prime Kershaw, I think if you take those years compared to any of Scherzer's best years, I think we'll see that Kershaw was the better pitcher in his prime. But I think when it's all said and done, if Kershaw continues down this path, but Scherzer continues down his path where he's top 3 Cy Young every year since he won the Cy Young, it's going to be like a really, really good debate.
And by the way, I know that if we look at Scherzer's stats cumulatively, I don't know if I said that right. I feel like I'm stuttering a lot today. He's not going to have like the wins. He's not going to have the total strikeouts and stuff to make it to the Hall of Fame when the time comes. But he's an example of the type of pitcher that deserves. I know that this is too early to talk about this, but I'm just trying to make a point. He's the kind of pitcher that deserves a spot in the Hall of Fame because when he did pitch and when he was dominant, there was nobody like him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like the same could be said for. I'm a Yankee homer. Same could be said for CC Sabathia. And recently I looked at some stats. The same could be said for. Nah, I'm not gonna say it. I was gonna say Mark Burley but his stats are more cumulative. Not that he was dominant, but I'm gonna go with the same could be said with CC Sabathia. When they were in their prime, it was something unique to watch. Like they were game changers, and I feel like game changers should be Hall of Famers.
Yeah, and they basically can't. Scherzer's done enough in his career that they can't deny him Hall of Fame. Like he has 3 Cy Youngs, top 5 since he won his Cy Young every year. I'm pretty sure he's going to have a similar season this year because that start that he had against the Mets was a great classic Scherzer. So they can't deny him, but you're right. Statistically, because of the beginning of his career, he's not going to have those Hall of Fame type of numbers, but they can't deny him the Hall of Fame. Not Scherzer, man. Yeah,
man. Since that Cy Young, if we combine all of his stats, thank God for Baseball Reference, he has a 7.23 win-loss percentage with a 2.81 ERA. His FIP is a 2.86 FIP, and his WHIP is a sub-1 WHIP. He has a 0.973 WHIP. I mean, if that's not domination, man. And he pitches consistently 200 innings every single season. Like,
the
guy's a horse.
Even before he won the Cy Young, he was pitching pretty good. He had like a rise, and then he's just been on that elite level ever since.
Yeah. And I remember when he was a free agent, and there was discussions about the Yankees, should they go after him or not. And I remember thinking, man, this guy to me, he just seemed like one of those guys. He's going to blow out his arm. There's something about him. I could not have been more wrong about Max Scherzer, and I wish that we had pulled the trigger on him. Just like I wish we had pulled the trigger on Chris Sale, too.
Well, you know what, though? You can't blame yourself for looking at Max Scherzer like that because how many players do what he did, in those 1 or 2 years, sign the big contract and just don't turn out to be what you thought. So I don't blame you. I don't think anybody could have predicted that Max Scherzer was still going to be this good now,
Yeah, man. He's amazing. I love me some Max Scherzer.
Yeah, we just went on a Scherzer rant for about 10 minutes.
Show did. Let's move on to what might be the last topic, CT. I don't know if you heard about this, but in L.A., I think it was on Saturday, after the Dodgers game, so a man was on Facebook live with his wife, and all of a sudden she hears a scuffle. The screen goes black. Next thing she hears from not from him, but from somebody about him, he's in the hospital on life support. Apparently there was a post-game fight in Los Angeles, and this isn't the first time that this has happened. This was in the parking lot, by the way. I don't know if I said that already. So we have really close friends that work in Yankee Stadium, for example, for their police department and stuff. And I just can't imagine something like this happening. I don't want to blame it on the police, but what's going on in LA, man? This is crazy.
I don't know. This is the first time I'm hearing about this. Is he okay now, or when did this happen?
No, man, he's on life support. Happened. So a man suffered a skull fracture and is on life support after being attacked in a parking lot at Dodger Stadium early Saturday morning.
Saturday morning.
Yeah. So I wonder if he's an employee or something.
Yeah. So this didn't happen after a game. This happened maybe. Was he?
Well, it could have been after. It could have been. Okay, so the incident occurred at 1 a.m. It was after a game.
Late. Oh, I got you.
Yeah, late Friday night, early Saturday morning. I don't know, man.
You know, the area around Yankee Stadium isn't the safest area.
It's getting better, but it's not. You're right.
But right on that block of Yankee Stadium, those bars, all those restaurants, I don't feel, anything can happen, obviously. I'm a Red Sox fan. If I walk around in Red Sox gear in that block, who knows? But I still never felt like anything could ever happen to me like that. Just outside of Yankee Stadium. We're talking about the parking lot of the Dodgers stadium. So this is crazy,
Yeah, and Dodger Stadium is not, this happens a lot at Dodger Stadium. Obviously, this is the worst case scenario. This guy's essentially on his deathbed. I hope that he pulls out of it. But apparently there were a number of fights already at Dodger Stadium. Pretty big ones in the stands, and there has been issues in the past. There was a Giants fan who was severely beaten in 2011 following a Giants loss. This is just when I go to a game, I get emotional. I curse sometimes. I understand that people don't like that. I try to contain myself as much as I can. But I don't start with people. You know what I mean? I don't understand why go to a game to start shit. Just enjoy the game. That's what you're there for, and you're ruining it for everybody. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's what it is. These people they're not considerate for anything because there's children at the game. You're ruining the experience for everyone around you, and it's just I feel like those are people that were just brought up really selfish. Yeah,
and it makes people not want to go to games. Growing up, in the 90s, I would go to Yankee games all the time, and we would get bleacher seats, and we would sit with the bleacher creatures, and they would start shit, and it wasn't enjoyable. I remember at points thinking feeling kind of scared. What if they start shit with me? I've seen a bleacher creature at Yankee Stadium take a hat from a kid from an opposing team, though, so I was safe in that regard, and throwing it onto the field and cursing them out. And it's just it just ruins it. It ruins the experience. People are spending money to go watch their team, and these fans kind of just, ruin it all. But I don't know. I don't know how you fix it because you can't stop selling booze. They already stopped selling booze, after the 7th inning. I just don't know. I don't know how to fix it. When I read this story, I was surprised by it. I can't imagine something like this happening. And bringing it back to Yankee Stadium, it also makes players not want to play for your team. In the postseason, I believe it was in 2009, a Yankee fan, I believe it was. I don't know if this don't fact check this. I may get this wrong. Generally, the point of the story is right, but they spit on what's that pitcher's name? Cliff Lee's wife, and were cursing her out. And I believe that she had a baby or she was pregnant or something. And apparently that played into his decision not to play for the Yankees. So, you're also hurting your team. You know what I mean?
Yep.
I just don't get it, man.
Yeah, you know what? I don't know. I can't even say that. Alcohol is the the core issue here, because when I drink, I never get violent. The first thing that doesn't cross my mind when I drink in any scenario is to be like, how can I mess this situation up even more? How can I get in trouble? You know, like. Right. So
I think that's us though, because I do have friends that when they get drunk, I dread being around them, because, you know, it's just I don't get it, because when I drink, I relax, I just calm down. I can't imagine ever getting into a fight. If anything, I might be too lazy to get into a fight. I can't imagine, you know, getting irate or nothing like that. But I have been with people that do, and I choose not to hang out with them anymore. You know what I mean? Like.
Yep.
I don't get it, man. Alcohol.
So I don't know. Crazy. I don't know what the solution would be, but I don't know, man. It's sports. Like, this is entertainment. This is supposed to bring joy. It's never really. I mean, you can feel bad about your team losing, but it should never get to the point of violence. Like, that's just ridiculous.
Yeah, I agree, man. And then let's move on from the sad shit real quick. This is kind of sad too, but it's sad for a different reason. I read an article on CBS Sports. Baseball, the strikeouts in baseball are continuing to rise. So apparently, I wish I had the article directly in front of me right now. I'm the worst. Mm-hmm. But in the first 4 games of a season, the strikeout rate has increased for the past 4 years. And as a result, by the end of the season, they found some sort of correlation. Strikeout rates were higher year by year for the past 4 seasons. This year, the strikeout rate is up by 2% from last year. So what that means is, if the trend continues, is that we're going to see even more strikeouts this year.
God.
Yeah. So something to look for this season, CT, is more strikeouts. Are you excited about that?
No, I'm not excited about it. But if the offense continues how it did in these first couple of days, then I think we're not really going to care, because I saw a lot of home runs by a lot of people. They weren't chip shots either. So
a lot of action, a lot of walk-offs this weekend too.
Yep, a lot of walk-offs.
Trey Turner, by the way, has Trey Turner arrived?
Too soon.
Too soon. Okay, because every year he's ranked in the top 10 in fantasy, and I've picked him in the past. I believe with my first pick, maybe 2 years ago, and he didn't pan out. And last year, another one of our opponents in our fantasy league picked him high, not in the first pick, but he didn't pan out again. This year, he's stealing bases, he's hitting homers. He looks like the Trey Turner that we've been waiting for the past 3 or 4 years. I hope that he could stay healthy, because if he does, losing Bryce Harper becomes much less painful for the Washington Nationals, and that National League East is going to be insane as a result, because then you have the Mets look good, the Phillies look good, the Nats look good, and if the Braves can get their pitching in order, we know that they're good as well. So hopefully he's good.
Yep.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. I'm hearing that Dallas Keuchel's in discussions with the San Diego Padres. It seems like that might be happening, hopefully.
Wow.
And I'm also hearing that Craig Kimbrell, let me get my notes. Craig Kimbrell is in talks with 3 teams, the Mets, the Brewers, and the Rays. And I think that if he goes to either one of those teams, he could change those teams' dynamics. The Brewers could use him clearly more than any of the other teams, because they lost, I don't even know how to say his name. Knebel? How do you say his name?
Nebel. I call him Nebel. I don't even know if that's a... Yep.
You got 3 options, guys. You pick it.
Evil Knievel.
Evil Knievel.
Anyways, I hope he goes to the Mets or the Brewers. I don't want him to go to the Rays. We don't need that shit in that.
I don't need it in the AL East either, man.
Yeah, we don't need it in the AL East.
And you shared this fucking picture that said that the Yankees had acquired Craig Kimbrell, and I got so excited. And then
I didn't share that.
I realized that it was an April Fool's joke. You bastard.
Yeah, that wasn't me though.
I still blame you,
man. Are we about to wrap it up, or
unless if you want? Is there anything else you want to talk about?
Nah. I guess. Did you hear about the Ron Darling thing?
No.
So Ron Darling has a book out, and he accuses Lenny Dykstra,
oh boy,
of using a racial slur in Game 3 for that Red Sox pitcher Oil Can Boyd.
In
Game 3
in '86.
Yeah, and I'm on my way home from work, and I'm listening to the Michael K show. They actually had Doc Doc Gooden on there, and he vouched for Lenny Dykstra, saying that they were really good friends, that he would never expected any type of, that type of behavior from him. And then Lenny Dykstra actually calls in like seconds later.
Wow, this is some WWE shit, man.
Yeah, he actually sounded kind of drunk, like on the call, and apparently he kept dropping the F-bomb or something, that they had to end the call early because they only have a certain amount of delay that they could stop him from cursing on the air.
Yeah. You but can only there's like you have like 3 or something that you can drop.
Yeah, he sounded really upset. He said Ron Darling was like Mr. Perfect back then. He still is. He has like all these accolades, and like he's one of the voices of the Mets and everything. So, but he said it's complete false. He's gonna sue him. If he sees him on site, he's gonna drop him apparently. And
oh boy,
I just thought it was a really interesting story. It just reminds you there's never a dull day in sports.
Wow.
Yeah.
Didn't Lenny Dykstra just get like arrested for assaulting an Uber driver or something, like pulling a gun on
something
an Uber
like
driver?
that? Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. So this guy has a checkered past. I know that he has issues with drugs and all this stuff. When you said that he was accused of using a racial slur, I wasn't surprised, but I don't know. Doc Gooden. If Doc Gooden is vouching for him, who knows? I mean, why would Ron Darling make this up though? He doesn't need to. He doesn't need the attention.
From what I heard from the Michael K show was that he was on deck when he said it to the pitcher, or he was up at bat. So the person on deck, surprisingly enough, either the person on deck or he was on deck, and the person on the steps was Keith Hernandez. Of course, the plot thickens. Keith Hernandez, the co-anchor for Ron Darling in the Mets, is in the middle of all this. Apparently,
wow.
he's the one that needs to come out and kind of vouch for him if he didn't hear it or if he heard it. Because if anybody would have heard it, it was him. Mm. So, yeah, just a random story.
And if the drama couldn't get any worse, as soon as you said that, I go on Twitter to look at Lenny Dykstra's Twitter feed. He has pinned what you just said. Lenny Dykstra wants to drop Ron Darling over racist tirade claims. And he also retweeted himself, I guess, cursing on the Michael K show. I'm going to listen to this as soon as we get off the air, as they say, CT. This is nuts, man. This is like WWE.
Yeah.
And you know what? I think it's good for baseball. I like the drama, man. Keep it coming.
Well, it is, but I mean, if Ron Darling just made this up to sell a book, then this is turning into the rap game where people just start random beefs to sell an album or to drop a mixtape or something.
Oh my
This
God.
is really, if Lenny Dykstra comes out with another book or something, then this whole thing was planned.
Wow. Yeah, wow. I'm surprised by this, man.
Yeah.
Somebody tweeted back at me on Twitter about, my comments saying that the Yankees could field a team with their injuries. They wanted to add, wow, what just happened? They wanted to add 3 more people to the list. 2 more people, sorry. Ben Heller, who's a relief pitcher for the Yankees. He only pitched a few innings last year, but I guess he was expected to make the team this year. And Estevan Florial are also injured with the New York Yankees. So,
oh yeah, I forgot about him.
I'm gonna let our listeners in on a little something. We've touched on this slightly, but I have a case of something, guys. So it's not something that you can get diagnosed at a doctor's office or at a psychology or anything like that. It's kind of a self-diagnosis, or other people can diagnose you with this. It's a little something we like to call in the Dominican culture a fuku. I have really bad luck when it comes to fantasy baseball, and I'm afraid that perhaps I have passed it on to the New York Yankees, man.
I just wanted to say that you have mentioned that on this show before, but it was a long time ago, and I doubt that anybody remembers. But here I am to remind everyone that this has been brought up in the show before. And yes, I'm here to back that up. That you do have some sort of curse attached to you when it comes to baseball.
Thank you for admitting that, man. You know how much better it makes me feel.
You do have some sort of curse, but it might just be you. You might be the curse. You yourself, your brain,
you think it's just me?
Your mind.
Like everything I touch just turns to shit.
Because you believe it to be like that. Yeah, maybe.
You think so? Damn, man.
Maybe deep down, you want the Yankees to lose.
No, man. Are you kidding me?
Subconsciously, you want the Yankees to suffer because of what they did to A-Rod.
Nah. Nope.
Oh, that's just me. That's just me. My bad.
That's just you, man. No, it hurts me, man. It hurts that that I have this, and I decided to challenge the bastard this year and spit in his face. I mean, I picked Clayton Kershaw, injury prone. I picked Madison Bumgarner, injury prone over the last few years. Who else did I pick? I mean, I even picked Sonny Gray, guys, in the draft. Sonny Gray, who, by the way, gave me negative 10 points, the son of a bitch.
I mean, are you surprised, though?
No, man.
Sonny
And
Gray.
you know what? I'm going to stick with it. I'm going to stick with it because this is my strategy this year. I'm going with my heart, not the stats, and I'm spitting in the face of that fucker, a.k.a. El Fuku.
You know, the key to running your fantasy baseball team with your heart is that you have to have a strong stomach for it, Manny.
Nah, man, I got it. I've been taking Tums every day. I'm good.
Take it from a guy that held on to you, Darvish, for the first 6 months of baseball for no reason. Gotta have a stomach.
I'm not gonna lie. I've considered dropping guys, and I'm not gonna do it. I considered dropping Sonny Gray. I'm gonna keep him on my team. I'm gonna keep him. You know why? Because this shit has to turn at some point. It's like just letting the virus pass through you. I'm gonna let it pass through me. If it gives me diarrhea for a week, I'm good with that.
All right.
Yeah, too graphic. I wanted to bring up one last thing, and this doesn't have to be like a 10-minute conversation. It's just as while we're on the fantasy topic, real quick. I'm starting to get pissed off with rest days. I didn't realize how many players get rested until we started playing fantasy, and every year it gets worse and worse. Yesterday, I think 2 games into the season for the Chicago Cubs, Wilson Contreras gets the goddamn day off, and that doesn't make any sense to me. Today, Jock Peterson has been, raking, benched for rest. Brendan Nimmo, he struggled to start the season. He's still a young player. He's resting today. Why do these players need rest days? I don't understand.
Tell me about it. Michael Brantley, I mean, again, when you have fantasy, you watch certain players over others. I try to watch all the guys that I have on my team because I want to see the at-bats that they're not doing anything productive. What was that at-bat like? I saw a bunch of Judge at-bats I saw a Judge at-bat where he took a strike right down the middle, looking for a strikeout. Shit pissed me off. I've seen Michael Brantley's at-bats, and almost every at-bat he's hitting the ball so well, and they bench him for a rest day. The season just fucking started. They rested in the off season.
Not only is it the worst time because the season just started, but if the guy's hitting, why are you benching him? Like, I'm pretty sure that Jock Peterson is getting a rest day. I bet you it's because it's a left-handed pitcher or some shit. Because I know that he's not good against lefties or whatever, but he's been hitting really well. So
2 home runs in opening day. And I think he hit 2 home runs the day. 2 days after, I think he already has 4 home runs. Yeah,
like I don't get it, man. And Brandon Nimmo is, he's not the. I picked Brandon Nimmo. Brandon Nimmo was my one pick where I went with stats. He's a high on base guy, and I was like, I don't want strikeout guys that much this year, so I went with Brandon Nimmo. Why is Brandon Nimmo getting a rest day? This guy's like, he's only played like 2 years in baseball. Like,
yeah,
I don't get it. So yeah, I just wanted to bring that up real quick because I just noticed it in my fantasy. Fuck that, man.
No, I agree with you, man. It's annoying as shit, and I would be really pissed to find out that the only reason they're arresting these guys is because of some computation, some equation that came out that says that after they do certain amount of this on these days, they should get rest. Because I feel like that's really pushing it now that we're resting guys based off the analytics. Mm-hmm.
I bet you that if we could look this up real quick, and I don't know. Might take longer, so I'm not going to bore you guys with that. I bet you that Jock Peterson is benched because they're facing a lefty. I can almost guarantee it.
Yeah.
And that shit is, whatever. I'm just losing by so much this week that it
hurts. Let's see here, man. I'm up by 40 points right now. That's like 2 starts.
Good for you.
And guys. I only have a starter going today. 1 starter.
So if you guys didn't notice, we had a format, and then we just flushed it at the very end. We just flushed the format, but I think it's time, CT. We're over the hour mark.
Okay.
Let's end this shite. As I said at the beginning of the show, the Welcome to the Show podcast. Wow. Podcast is brought to you by Audible. Go to audibletrial.com/welcome to the show to get a free audiobook download and a 30-day free trial. That's audibletrial.com/welcome to the show. And then for more exclusive deals like 10% off of KD Custom Kicks and Top Velocity, visit WTTSpod.com/save. That's WTTSpod.com/save. Our music is by VM Varga and Rapturnal Music by Naughty Productions. And artwork is by Luigi Gomez. I'm Manny Gomez. Peace.
Peace out.